my headset so you guys for sure can hear me. I apologize. I'm still getting used to doing videos on the road. So, welcome to a Saturday edition. This is the Siberian Wind, Tammy, and I am in a hotel room if you cannot tell. And we are in Wyoming. We're actually in Rock Springs, I think. So I'm glad you all could make it. I've been doing some traveling the last couple of days. I know I'm going live a little early, but I'm not gonna, try to miss anybody or anything like that. So if you drop in, please say something in the chat. Let me know you're here. I'm hoping that the chat will show up for me. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. So I have been traveling, and last night I went to Joann's because I didn't know there was a Joann's in Rock Springs. So I picked up Quilt Mania magazine, and I am kind of looking forward to trying some of the projects in here. I don't know when I can get to them, but there's some pretty impressive projects in here. Guys, look at this quilt that is in here. Look at all of those hexagons. There's a ton of them, and it looks like a grandmother's flower basket. But oh my gosh, that is like a ton of work. A ton, especially if it's done by hand. It doesn't say how it was done. The name looks Japanese, which, if I'm not mistaken, Quilt Mania is out of Australia. So any of my Aussie subscribers, if you can tell me, is this a magazine out of you guys' neck of the woods? Like how could I tell? This is one of the projects in the magazine, and it's the cover quilt, and it's kind of exciting. I saw somebody stopped in and then disappeared. So I don't know if YouTube's showing me what's actually coming up or not. But I figured I'd just show a little bit of what I brought with me, or what I got while I'm here. I haven't gotten to my normal time yet. Susie, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Yeah, I did not know that there was a second Joann's in the state. I knew Gillette had closed, and I thought Cheyenne and Gillette were it, and apparently not. So I got to go to Joann's. Xander, welcome in. I think it's the first time I've seen you in my chat. Welcome, good morning. Judy is here. Welcome in. She says, hey, Tammy. Welcome, Judy. Glad you made it. You guys, I'm a glutton for punishment, right? So I picked up Twist and Turn quilts. A ton. There's 6 curved piecing projects in this magazine. So if you guys live near a Joann's, or you want to pick one of these up, it's not going to be until second half of 2025 when I can start any of this. But like in this, guys, it shows exactly how, which directions you're piecing all of these sections together to make these circular section quilts. And there's paper piecing sections in here that show you, I think they're the insides and the outsides. So I think this would be fun. It is kind of like a book. Yeah, it is. It's a Twist and Turn quilts. And it's just listed as, it's in the magazine section at Joann's. Claire, I think it's the first time I've seen you in the chat as well. Thank you for being here. Judy says, I love changing. Yes. Let's see. I want to save you from all of this. Take you to my chateau in St. Louis and treat you like a princess. You'll never have to work another day for the rest of... We're good. That's what I'm looking for. I guess my video may not be set to subscribers only, so we may be getting some spam in there as well. Laura has joined the chat. She says, hi, Tammy and everyone. Thank you, thank you. All right, Claire's message has been retracted. All right, all right. But yeah, it is kind of like a book. It's from C&T Publishing. I hope you guys can see it. It's reversed for me, so I don't know if you guys are seeing it right side direction or not. But yeah, it says it's perfect for hand or machine piecing. And let me see, that looks like that's an interior template. And those look like they're interior templates. So it looks like it has the interior template pieces. So for like all the centers of the blocks in this, I'm not seeing how we do the little flying geese looking designs on the curved piecing, but I'm figuring that that's probably in here. Judy says, I love challenging quilts. That would be some great quilts. Yes, it would. Yes, absolutely. I mean, and just some of the colors that you can get away with. So, like, this might be along some people's, line of thinking. That might be some people's colorway. For me, it's really busy. It would be hard for me to look at it. I mean, now in person it's probably more stunning, but that might be hard to look at. However, a version like that is a lot more simplistic and, at least in looks. So, you can really kind of play with what you want to do with it. I mean, even this one right here, laneways, that gives your eye a place to rest. And I think it's a little bit more pleasing to the eye. But it would be so much fun to try, you guys. So Twist and Turn Quilts is one of the books that I picked up. Laura says that's a bit busy for my taste. Yes, that one definitely was. Mitzi is here. She says hello. I don't know if I just said hello to you or not, so I apologize. Before I think a lot of you guys got on here, I have Quilt Mania. I picked that one up, and this cover project is in the book, or is in the magazine. So yeah, it's so pretty. I'm not sure if I would do it in those colors, but it's very tempting. It's very tempting, and it's paper piecing as well. I think 2025 is going to be probably the year of paper piecing. Laura says, I love that one. Yes, Tammy, I like resting my eyes on a quilt. It seems you can take more of it in. Yes, absolutely. And I apologize, you guys, when I'm reading comments. They are sideways for me. Gotta love doing this on your phone, right? So yeah, they're sideways. So if it's not a short comment and I can't read it going up and down, I do have to turn my head a little bit to read it. I figure you guys would rather me turn my head than me turn the whole camera. That would be kind of weird. Laura says, I've never tried paper piecing, but want to. So the temperature quilt that I am releasing the pattern for in January is paper piecing. There is some regular piecing as well as paper piecing. Let me pick up what I just dropped. Okay, it's a receipt in the back of my ticket. So I managed to go do some quilt shop hops, you guys. I'm dedicated to foundation paper piecing. Yep, absolutely, Judy. All right. So I picked up one other magazine or book from Joann's, The Ultimate Quilt Block Collection. And this is it's www.gathered.how. And I apologize if the camera's not picking that up. It is very faint print, very light colored. But you guys, there's so many blocks in this book. And I think some of them would be really good palette cleanser blocks. So I might put together like a scrap kit. And this might be something that I do like when I just don't want to do anything else. Like I don't want to put a lot of work or effort into one particular thing. I mean, gosh, guys, That's so stinking pretty. So stinking pretty. And it's 2 fabrics. So, there's a lot that you can do with all of this. And that's what this one is for me. This one's going to be like a palette cleanser. And it'll be something that I set aside and work on occasionally. It's not going to be like an ongoing project that I've got going. But it is definitely going to be something that I play with. Would make a great sampler quilt. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Oh my gosh, you guys. As paper piecing. But wouldn't that be so much fun? Wouldn't that, all the rounded flying geese and straight lines, wouldn't that be a lot of fun? And then you can play with the layouts of these, just like we did with Cut and Chiseled. Not Cut and Chiseled. With Here's the Angle. You can play with the layout with these and come up with a whole bunch of new layouts, I bet. So, I mean, it's paper piecing, so this would be something that I could carry with me and work on, when I'm doing a lot of different things. And just as a palette cleanser, just a block at a time, just kind of like hang out with it, that kind of deal. I really like that. And they've got it set on point and not on point for this block. So, I mean, when you see things like this, if you're looking for just something to fill in that, gives you the chance to breathe between quilts, something like this is a great plan. This is what I do. This is how I take that breath. I take that, I start a small new project that I'm not worried about it coming to anything. So something like this gives me that opportunity to just, let me go pick a block, in this book. And, make sure I've got enough fabric to do any of the blocks in the book. Make sure I've got a copier handy if it's paper piecing, that kind of thing. But I like that. So there's 24 shops in Wyoming on the State Shop Pop. I have 3 left. I got 5 on this trip. Andrea is here. Andrea. She says, howdy everyone. Is that picture sideways on anyone else's screen? Is my thing sideways, you guys? Do I need to turn my camera right side up? Please tell me. Please tell me that's probably what's wrong. Let me see. Let me see if that does. No, that's not going to do. That's not going to do it. Okay. All right. Here we go. Now it should be right side up. I'm so sorry, you guys. I thought I got YouTube to turn everything. Thank you for saying something. Nobody else has said anything. I was sideways. Oh my gosh, you guys. So I'm sitting here showing you books, and you guys are having to do this number. I'm so sorry. Giovanna, welcome in, lady. Judy says, yes, but as long as you are here. Oh my gosh, you guys. I cannot believe. So the first 15 minutes that I've been live, 13 minutes I've been live, my screen has been turned sideways. I'm so sorry. And I don't know how to change it. I don't know if I can. It says it happens. And if you guys do have me cut out for a second, I am getting a message reconnecting. The hotel Wi-Fi is apparently having issues. So I apologize right now for that. Andrea says, good friends do not let good friends screw up. And Laura says, it was sideways, now it's good. I thought it was just me. That's so... And Mary says, I just got on. I was going to say something. Well, see, Andrea beat y'all to it. Andrea's the one going, let me scratch my head long enough. Okay, she hasn't caught on yet. Let me tell her. All right, so one of the shops that I stopped at, theirs is a log cabin block. This is their little printout. It's all black and white. And their fabrics are all batiks. So that's the center. And you guys, them are way, way too long. But, like, they're so pretty. They're so pretty. They're just gorgeous, gorgeous prints. I love this leaf pattern. Oh, and I got 2 strips of it. Let's see, this one I got 1 strip of. I think I have some fabric that's similar to this sitting at home. I'm not sure, but this is a batik as well. They are beautiful fabrics, Mitzi. I agree. Oh, guys, I love this one. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, this shop, the shop that I bought this from, is actually hosting a Jacqueline DeGeorge retreat, and it's at the end of August next year, but they're going to open up registration soon, and if I want to go, I have to pay for it now, or like when the registration opens up, and I'm not sure if I really want, if I have the money to pay for it. But Jacqueline DeGeorge, if you guys have not seen any of her stuff, it's absolutely fantastic stuff. But I would have so much work to get done to be able to attend that retreat, because I would want to have everything paper pieced before I go. So she's teaching me the curve piecing and the assembly. Because according to the shop instructor, or the shop lady that I talked to when I got my kit, it's not like any other paper piecing I've done before. So we're going to see what I'm looking at. But I don't know that I've got the money to do it right now. It's an expensive retreat. It's expensive. It's expensive. Okay. So another shop that I stopped at. Hey, Sean, welcome in, sir. Welcome in. Giovanna says it's insane to pay a year in advance. Well, she is flying from the Netherlands. She lives in the Netherlands. And I knew that from years ago, but I'm not surprised. She's apparently a phenomenal instructor from what I've heard. Let's see. Everybody's saying hi. Yay. So this is one of the other kits, and I'm actually going to have to wait for my kit to arrive. They're going to have to ship it to me. I don't have to drive back out to go pick it up, but I'm going to have to wait for them to ship it to me. And if I wanted to do this out of my own fabrics, I could. They give you like the templates for everything, but if it's already laser cut and I'm already paying for it, that's laser cut, why? You know, why? So this one I'm going to have to wait on, so I don't have the fabrics for it yet. Oh, my nose is itching, you guys. My nose is itching. Sean says fun pattern, and Giovanna says that's beautiful. Yes, absolutely. These are some fun kits. These are some fun kits. And this is, I mean, I stopped at 5 shops on this trip, you guys. I left Thursday morning. We stopped at 2 on Thursday and stopped at 3 yesterday. And we would have stopped at 3 on Thursday and 2 yesterday, but we got into town a little late for our overnight stay for Thursday night, and the shop was already closed, so we had to wait until the morning. Mary G says, that pattern is beautiful. Mitzi says it's going to be gorgeous. I agree. Who is the teacher? The teacher that we're talking about for the retreat is Jacqueline DeGeorge. She teaches Be Colorful. Her pattern line is Be Colorful. Yes, absolutely, Sean. He says Tammy is 4 subs away from 400. So close. I know, right? Like I was at 391 yesterday. Like I was 9 away. So now I'm 4. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, I'm excited, you guys. I'm excited. All right. So this one's the one that I got there late last night and couldn't, or Thursday night and couldn't get until Friday morning. This is from the store in Thane, Wyoming, and their description is the Grand Tetons. and it is awesome. Sean says, sorry, didn't mean to make you flustered. No, I'm just excited. I'm so excited. That's awesome, because that means that I am 104 away from monetization, which means ads and, all of that. I'm not going to, and I will restate this, I am not going to start a membership program. So I'm not going to have the private Zooms for just, just these, certain small group of people or whatever. My intention with my YouTube channel is to keep it free, to keep the inspiration flowing, to keep the content flowing. So that is going to be free. And if you guys want to do the super chats or things like that, once I'm monetized and it lets me do that, offer that option, then that's what we would do. Michelle has joined the chat. She says, hi, Tammy, everyone. Welcome in, Michelle. Giovanna says, is it paper piecing? Nope. Nope, it is going to be all applique. It's all applique. And they give me like multiple pages in order to get everything on there. So I'm going to have to lay it out. And they give you, this is fusible. So I'm going to be able to fuse it to one side and then trace and cut out and then fuse my applique in place. Everybody is so excited that this is applique. Guys, I am not super as excited as you guys are. I'm just going to say that. Now, I will say I love the fabrics. I do love the fabrics. I don't particularly like doing applique this way. If I'm going to do applique for stuff like this, I would rather it be fused already and like pre-cut. But this does keep the cost of the kits down, so I can understand. And there's a lot of people who do like doing this way. I'm just not one of them. Guys, I love this fabric. I love it, love it. Mitzi says, I'd rather do foundation paper piecing. You and me both. You and me both. And then there's also this dark blue. This one looks directional. So I'm going to have to see when I go to lay things out how I want to lay it out. And all 24 blocks, freezer paper is awesome for applique. It is awesome. This isn't freezer paper though. This is that fuse and peel kind of stuff. So we're going to have to see, because I haven't used any of it before. Of the fusible web is what they're calling it. That's what they're calling it. So, sky and muslin with right sides together. Trace all the applique pieces onto the paper backing of the fusible web. Group pieces by the color, leaving at least a 1/4 inch space around each piece for trimming. And all the pieces are already reverse refusible applique. So we're going to see. Yeah, I agree, Giovanna. She says that is glue. Yeah, it basically is. It's a sheet of glue. I have many applique quilts, some fused and some turned under. See, Mary G, I like the turn under effect on applique. I'm really not fond of the fusible, but this is designed to be, I decided when I was going to start getting all of these that I was going to get them all, and I was going to just take my time putting them together. Sean says I put fusible webbing on the back. I would trace the design and use freezer paper on the front. I iron the freezer paper and cut it out. Oh, that makes sense. Andrew says you'll like it once you do it. It's much easier to use. Yeah, says you. I'm just kidding. Judy says love applique. Fusible web works great. You don't have to turn under applique, which with my hands I can't. I physically can't right now. Like my joints, even though I'm on medication for my psoriatic arthritis, between my fibromyalgia and my psoriatic arthritis, my fingers go numb after a little bit, and they will start swelling like crazy. So the less strain I can put on my hands, that's what I'm gonna have to do. And I didn't say I won't do it. It's not my favorite is where I'm gonna put it. Because I've done it before. It's not what I choose to do normally. Like I won't pick an entire quilt and do fusible. It's not what I'm gonna do. Giovanna says it makes it easier and the fabric doesn't fray that much. See, I would like to do, I have an applique quilt that I want to do, and it's huge. I mean, I remember the name of it, Santa's Loading Dock. If you guys look up Santa's Loading Dock, it was a quilt done and displayed at Paducah one of the years that I went, and the last year I went was 2017. So I think this was 2016 because of the time frame of when I would have gotten the book and all. So it was displayed at least in 2016, if not before then. So sometime between 2012, maybe 2013, and 2016. So like a 3-year time frame. The quilt is absolutely fantastic. And so I have the book, and she gives you instructions on how to do the quilt, but it's not actually a pattern in the same sense that you're used to. So like all the little bitty things, the elves, the toys, like all of that, there's patterns for. I mean, so it is a pattern in that respect, but how to do the background and all of that, that is like she tells you how she did it, but not how to do it. Like not how to cut this, like what do you cut for this? How do you sew this together? Like none of that is in there. And so you can choose any applique method you want. So I've got a couple of methods I'm going to try and see which one I like better, and that's what I'm going to go with, because I am going to eventually do that quilt. I have been wanting to do it. So there's a lot that I'm going to try, but you know, this quilt I will all of these blocks and everything, I will put them together. All right, so there's two more. So I stopped at 5 shops total. This one, you guys, is also fusible applique, and it's laser cut. So you don't have to worry about doing laser, or you don't have to worry about doing any cutting. So they give you a pattern for cutting out the sun. Everything else is basically pre-cut. You don't have to figure it all out. You just peel and fuse. Isn't the moose so cute, you guys? And I have not seen a moose this entire trip. And I will tell you funny. So we're seeing all these signs for bears on the road next how many ever miles. During all of this trip, we never once saw a bear. My husband saw a cow off to the side, and it was a black cow, and it was laying down, or it was like far enough down that you really couldn't see the whole animal. So it was basically this big black blob. We pulled up, turned around, and came back to go see what this black blob was, and it was a cow. So we've been looking for bears this whole trip because we've been warned, you know, don't stop for the bears, you know, keep the bears wild. Guys, we haven't seen a bear. Have not seen a single bear. This has been a wasted trip for seeing bears. I mean, we saw other things, but we did not see any bears. All right, so I saved the best one for last. And I say that I say that this is the best one because I absolutely, shop is fantastic. We talked about doing retreats, but there's just no way to really do a retreat where this shop is located. But my understanding is she has an online presence, so you can order from her. So I will, once I find the link, I will put the link in the description box of this video so you guys can order from her. Absolutely, again, fantastic shop. And it's a fairly new shop, but just, it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. So it's black and white printout. So what you're seeing is you're seeing all the different trees, and then there's a bear. So you're getting all the trees and the bear. And this is from Broken Art Glass and Hobby. She was originally starting the shop to show and do classes on stained glass, and she was buying an old quilt shop, and she agreed to go ahead and buy the merchandise in the quilt shop as part of it. Andrea, Giovanna. Oh my gosh, she's like, you found a bear. Yes, I found a bear. I found a bear. Now, these may have been cut on AccuQuilt. I don't know. They're not fused or anything, so I will probably 505 spray them. And she included 2 bears. And I think she included 2 trees for every tree that was pictured. So, like, she included the original and the reverse. I mean, you guys, I got tons of trees. I got a stack of trees. And I got 2 bears. I only saw 1 bear in the picture. But, I mean, it's a cute fabric. It's a very cute fabric for the background. But I've got plenty of trees to play with. And I got at least 2 bears to play with. So, I mean, I really enjoyed this shop. If I could have found... Oh, there are 2 bears in the picture. I didn't see the second bear. So there's one, and the other one is up here. So there are 2 bears in the pattern. I was like, wait a minute, why did she include 2 bears? She should know. Nope, there's 2 bears in the pattern. But absolutely fantastic shop. So she actually gave me a little gift bag, and I'm already repurposing it, so don't look inside. So she gave me a little gift bag for stopping in, and she gave me a wheel of pins, straight pins. She gave me a pair of snip scissors, and these are just freebies that she gave, guys. I got a Bestest Bud Jack, and this one will probably be in a giveaway. Quilting in my veins, Jesus in my heart. And I think it's a sticker. If I had to guess, it's a sticker. Feels like a sticker. So, you guys, sticker. I saw someone using watered down clear school glue. And if I cut out, I was just reading the rest of the sticker. But yeah, so she gave me a quilt. She gave me a little goodie bag in addition to my shop purchase. So that was really, really sweet and awesome. And I'm actually going to put stuff I got from that shop in there. And of course, so when you go to all these shops, a lot of them have little tags, or little coupons, tickets, or whatever, or they have little pieces of paper. You put your information on it for the in-house gift baskets. So it's really kind of cool that they're doing that. Andrea said that she wanted that one. The Appliquick is one of the kinds of glues you can use. Yeah, I've heard of that before. I haven't used it. I have a cardboard box. I actually have a plastic box out in my storage closet that's out on the patio, and I just bring it out on the patio and use some 505 on the back. Like, I put my applique pieces in, spray everything with 505, and then just pick it up, and put it where it needs to go. So, like, I could do the other, but because I have a really good place to do that, that's one way. Glue stick works well. Yes, it does. Glue stick works really well. Andrea, the way that I did glue stick, because I did glue stick on the medallions on my husband's quilt, the Super Secret quilt. And what I did is I would rub my finger on the glue stick and then rub it on the back of the applique. That way I had a little bit more control, especially for those smaller pieces. But you could definitely do like a little bitty paintbrush or something. Ooh, makeup brush. Lip application makeup brush would work really well too. And you guys, I've been looking for one of these in purple to put on the back of my car. So now I have a Wyoming Bucking Bronc. It's called Steamboat. But now I have a purple one to put on the back of my car. So I now have a sticker. Woohoo! I've been looking for this guy for a while. I've been looking for the purple version for a while. So that's basically what I have done on this trip. I have not gotten to do a lot of what I planned. So for the pattern that I'm releasing in January, I've already spilled the beans that it is a double wedding ring quilt. So I have a lot of paper piecing patterns for it. And so I went last night and started cutting them apart. I'm not trying to show patterns, so that's why. But I sat last night and cut my entire stack of them apart so that I can start labeling them and folding them. So I already have my folded lines. I have a few days to go. So I'm going to go through those in the next couple days or so and get those, folded and labeled and ready for, actually sewing. I'm going to be traveling home today. We're going to go to a baseball game and then we're going to travel home. And then Sunday I'm going for quilt judging at the Wyoming State Fair. So if you guys have never been to a quilt judging, I will have more information after I've been to one. The quilt judging is open at the Wyoming State Fair. Chloe, welcome in, welcome in. So the quilt judging is open to the public, so we can go and you can overhear what the judges are saying. You can't go up and hang out where the judges are. But you can listen in while they're talking about whatever quilt they're in front of and, move around the room as the judges are moving around the room is my understanding. I got the rules for that quilt and I got it free because a piece was broken, but I fixed it. Oh, the ruler for the double wedding ring. Okay, yeah. And there'll actually be template pieces. So if your rulers don't match the template pieces, it might not work. So we'll see. There will be more information coming out in January when I release it. We had a lady come to our guild in Washington and displayed all her beautiful quilts and sold Appliquick products. She gave us a mini class. Oh, that's awesome, Mitzi. That's great. I used Roxanne's Glue Based It for some stuff, and it didn't travel with me for some reason, and I don't know why. So, I used to have some Roxanne's Glue Based It, but I haven't repurchased any, and I've just used glue stick. I haven't bothered with, going back and getting anything extra. So I'm going to the quilt judging. I do have 2 quilts in the show, so maybe I'll get to hear what they have to say about my quilts. Maybe I'm gonna hope. We're gonna cross fingers and hope. That way, maybe I can, hear what they say about, what I did or didn't do right on my quilts. So I get that feedback live in addition to getting the papers when I get my quilts back on the 18th. Mitzi says quilt judging will be good. I'm hoping so. And then Monday I am I'm taking a friend down to Denver. She has a medical appointment that I promised her I would go with her for. So that is a 4-hour one-way trip. So I will be out of pocket all day Monday. And then when I come back Tuesday, they're going to take a look at my wrist, see what's wrong with it, do an ultrasound or whatever, see if they can figure out what's going on with it. And then I will have my live with you guys Tuesday night. So I may not have a whole lot of sewing done by Tuesday, but we are going to spend some time doing some sewing Tuesday night. I think what we may be working on is cotton cuts. Might be. That way I can get caught up. I'm not behind. I just haven't done August block yet. So I'm looking forward to it. This trip has been exhausting, but good. It hasn't been nothing's a quick trip. Nothing is a quick trip. Oh my gosh, my phone just fell, you guys. I'm sorry. Nothing has been a quick trip this entire trip. The store that we were stopping at Thursday is 6.5 hours from home. So nothing is a quick trip. We did stop at one place. So if you guys ever get the chance to come to Wyoming, if you want to see something that has only been open, it's only been open 4 years, but it is incredibly well done. It is a museum of military vehicles. So, a lot of museums are dedicated to, like, especially military type museums, they're dedicated to, you know, a war specific, or they're dedicated to a branch of military specific, something like that. This museum is dedicated to the vehicles, both airplane or aircraft, boats, ground vehicles, guns, all of that. And it's not just American made items that are in the museum either. It is a massive museum. They offer scooters. So as long as, there's plenty of them left, just grab a scooter and go do your tour. My husband and I were able to get through the entire museum using the scooters. But there's no way I could have walked that if we tried to walk it. There's no way whatsoever. But from his military history, he was able to go into, like, well, that was the gun that I used. This was the helmet I wore. Things like that. He was able to point things out to me that matched his service, equipment. And so it was kind of really informative that way. And my dad was in the military as well, and he was, of course, in a different branch and different time frame. But I was able to take some pictures that I'm going to send to him and just go, look, this is what I saw while I was there. I think you would really enjoy it. Maybe get my dad to come out this way. But that the Museum of Military Vehicles is in DuBois. Pardon me for not knowing the pronunciation. It is not Du Bois. Do not drop the S. You have to say the S. But I think it's Du Bois. But again, I don't remember which part of the name of this town is supposed to be accented, and I forgot to ask while I was there, so I didn't get corrected while I was there either. But it is a fabulous museum. Laura says, I love museums and history. Yes. Giovanna says, that's a long trip. Yeah, yes, it is. Yes, it is. So one of the things, let's see, my husband would be all over that museum. He could give the history of every vehicle in there. Yes. And they actually, so when you buy your pass for the museum, you actually are buying a 2-day pass. So let's say you get there, right when they open on whatever day one of your visit is. You have that pass. It's a wristband, like one of the paper wristband things. You have that pass for the next day too. So you can go in and go, view it for one day and then come back and view things again the second day. Like we glazed over some of the guns. I didn't get to read all the descriptions. There was a lot that I didn't get to read, but I did get to go through it and experience the overall aesthetics and the layout and get a really good feel for everything that was there. I just didn't get to read everything, and I think I would have been exhausted had I tried to read everything, and we really would not have made it to town in time for anything else. Laura says, Andrea, my husband is a car guy and would be able to tell me in detail about them too. Yes. In one section of the museum, they have the engines out of, I believe it's the tanks. I took a picture, so I might be able to go back and see if it's the engines out of the tanks or out of some of the ground vehicles, like the four-wheel vehicles and such. They've got some split tracks. I mean, they've got some absolutely unique vehicles there. They have some German vehicles. They have some from Canada. They've got some motorcycle. I mean, they've got the gentleman who owns it, and who is the collector that started it. He's like in his 70s or something now, and he actually comes in. I believe they were saying it's on Fridays and Saturdays, and gives personal tours. Like, he is there giving tours as well. And then there's always veterans in there that will talk about, this particular vehicle or this section of the museum. Like, there is different tour things that'll that are going on too. And, the staff can tell you a little bit more about that. Andrea, my husband wants one too. Andrea said that her husband wants a military Humvee so bad my husband would die to have one, believe me. But yeah, so one of the things that we walked through, and I'm really honored that I got to go through this. So when you hear about the Vietnam War, especially if you didn't live it, if you were younger than the Vietnam War, you hear about, the military, really wasn't being supported. And they came home, and my dad's own story, because my dad served during Vietnam. He was not deployed to Vietnam, but he served during Vietnam. And his deployment, even though he wasn't in Vietnam, when he came home to the U.S., he was spat on. People said, were mad at him for serving in the military, even though he was one number away from getting drafted. So, he really didn't have much of a choice. It was either enlist and get a say in where he goes, or get drafted and for sure being sent to Vietnam, which was so dangerous, so very dangerous. A lot of the military members that came home from Vietnam, they struggled a lot more than even the movie Forrest Gump shows. They really struggled. And the museum does a fantastic job of portraying just how difficult the situation in Vietnam was, what the troops on the ground had to deal with, all of that kind of thing. Laura says, the only problem that I have is that I have to listen closely, because he tests me. He'll say, do you remember? Half the time I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. Giovanna says, I was born before that, and I went to Thailand in 78 just after it was over. Andrea says, I was teen during Vietnam. My stepdad did 2 tours there, and my second husband was a Marine over there and came back so shell-shocked and had PTSD so bad. Yeah. This museum, they give you a warning, and that if you, that the veterans may experience some PTSD going through the Vietnam section. They actually have the environment in the Vietnam section set with the sounds that you would have heard being in Vietnam during that time frame. I don't think they've got the smells set, so I think we're safe on that one. The overall lighting, there's just so much that could be a trigger and take someone back to that time frame. I am not normally one of those people that can't separate. I'm here and I'm just in an exhibit and I'm actually there. I'm not normally one of those that has that trouble. And even riding a motorized scooter through some of the exhibits, it was very, very immersive. And there were sections where you could press and see a highlight of, some of the dangers that they faced. You could press and highlight, seeing what kind of environment they would have been walking through, because you would have all this bamboo and trees and such, and you'd be walking through, and you might not see something that's on the ground. You might not see this piece of brush that's being used as a weapon. You might not see these. And just that one wrong step could land you in a grave 6 feet under. And even though I wasn't actually in Vietnam, and I didn't live during the Vietnam War, to know that our service members were in that environment and then came home to being discarded because they did their duty to our country, it breaks my heart even more than it did before I went through the exhibit. It was it was heartbreaking to go through it. And, I'm so far removed from it, but it was heartbreaking for me. And that's hard. That's hard to get me to be in that situation. So they did an excellent job in representing and showing that. And so if you do get the chance to visit Wyoming, put Du Bois on your list of places to go visit the military Museum of Military Vehicles. It is absolutely 100%, 1,000%, 10,000% worth the visit. Because, and as Giovanna pointed out, we've got to remember that they had no choice. Yeah, my dad did not have a choice. He was either going to be drafted or he had to enlist. So he enlisted so that he wasn't sent to Vietnam, because if he had been drafted, he would have been sent to Vietnam directly. And I'm thankful that he was not sent to Vietnam, but so many of his generation were. So, I mean, it's definitely challenging. Mitzi says, I understand, I was in a war country. Mitzi then says, I once bought a pair of shoes for my toddler. The next day, a car bomb destroyed the store. Oh my goodness. Well, you have been blessed. I'm thankful that you're here. Absolutely thankful. Andrea says, my husband now was an Army Ranger during Desert Storm. He does not seem to suffer from PTSD, but he still does everything military. Giovanna says, Andrea, Vietnam was a different type of war. It was an ungrateful event. Yeah, and that's kind of the deal. So my husband served up until 2009, and so he served pre-2001 and after 2001, where we had the Twin Towers, the September 11th event. So even though it wasn't going to Vietnam, he never had that kind of disrespect hurled at him like my dad and the generation that went to Vietnam did. And it was because people didn't support the war. People didn't want us to go to war. And the one good thing about this museum as well is it explains why it was so unpopular. Not just it was unpopular because it was not culturally acceptable. It was unpopular because it didn't make sense for us to go. It didn't make sense for us to be in the Korean War. I mean, like, there's a lot of things that it goes over, and it shows you not just why we were successful or not successful, because it does show you that too, but it also shows you what everybody went through, and it was very eye-opening. I didn't know much about the Korean War, but when we came out of World War II, we were not fit to go back to war, and our government decided that we were going back to war either way, and that war has never been solved. That's why there's North and South Korea still, and a demilitarized the DMZ. There's still a DMZ. So it's so amazing to actually have it explained in terms that you can grasp, and that beyond everything else that museum could do. Yes, the vehicles are cool. Yes, they are amazing. Almost all of them are restored. There's a couple that are not restored, and you can see the difference between a restored and not restored. Goodness, it was so amazing to have everything put into terms that make so much sense. Giovanna says it was money-making war. Yes. Andrew says she's going to have to go take care of her animals, but she'll leave the show running for the watch hours. Thank you. And if I'm still running when she gets back, she'll see me then. Sounds good. And I'm actually probably not going to be running for much longer. We have until 11 a.m. our time to check out of the hotel. So we're not going to be hanging out, much past this, because we do have to check out and get ready we have to get ready for the baseball game and then go check out and go to the game and all of that. See, I missed that part. I don't know if that would, Giovanna says the French started the war and then the U.S. entered. I don't know if that was covered, or if I just missed it. So, I mean, there's a good chance I missed it if it was covered. But especially here in the U.S., what you will typically find, especially in school books and texts and things like that, is it is geared towards just the U.S.'s involvement, not necessarily how other countries played into it. Unless they helped us or hurt us, we might get told that, we were hanging out in the bunkers with the British, or we were hanging out in the bunkers with the French. We might get told something like that, but we don't get told, and it's not very publicized in our textbooks. It's not publicized that, the French started this war and we decided to join them as allies. Like, that stuff doesn't. If it is mentioned, the only way that we would pay attention to it as a whole is if somebody was studying French and thought it was cool. So, like, it's not that it didn't happen that way. It's that I'm not going to remember it that way, because that's not, unless it's brought up like that, I would not have known that. I had no idea. I mean, granted, I wasn't alive during the time either, so I didn't know, all the details. But if it wasn't brought up in the museum, if it was, I missed it. But if it wasn't brought up in the museum, I wouldn't have known that. So either way. Let's see. That's what I don't like about the U.S. They don't teach everything. And that is, I agree. And, we have always viewed, the U.S. has always viewed itself, and this is, I don't really want to turn this into political, but it's going to get a little political for just a second, you guys. The U.S. is very famous for being very proud of our legacy and our history and our military prowess in years past. I mean, our military prowess is not what I feel it should be as a U.S. citizen. But we're so United States everything. It's me, United States everything, that leads into the rest of our culture. So people come here and they're like, there's American flags everywhere. Yeah, we're proud of ourselves. We like to pat ourselves on the back. And it is both political and, a lot of other things. So I completely understand. I do understand that sentiment. But okay, let's go back to quilting for just a minute. Okay, so I'm going to be live Tuesday night. I'll be live tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, guys. Tomorrow night, Sunday night. I will be live. We will work on something quilty related Sunday night. I don't know what project yet, but we're going to work on something Sunday night, and then I will tell you guys about the quilt show judging Sunday night, and and then we will talk again Tuesday, and I will have something to sew on Tuesday. One way or the other, we will have something to sew on. So I will give you guys some more updates as I get them. But if you guys didn't catch all of the goodies that I came home with, go back and watch from the beginning. And I apologize that at the beginning of the video my camera is turned. I am apologizing now for it. If you're going to have to go back and rewatch, I apologize now for it. So, but thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate it. If you are struggling with any kind of mental health problems, if you go through the museum like I did and you're struggling, don't hesitate to reach out and get help. Mental health is always a priority, so don't ever sell yourself short. Don't ever consider yourself unworthy. You are worthy, and you are loved, and you have friends here. Even if you have no friends anywhere else that you can think of, reach out, let me know, let someone else know that you need help, and we will get you in touch with whatever resources we need to get you the help that you need. So please do not put your mental health on the back burner. use this weekend as a chance to breathe. You've got a full week coming up ahead of you, and come hang out Sunday night, get a little bit more breathing time in, get some sewing, quilting time in with us. And I look forward to seeing you guys Sunday night. Bye.